Welcome to the show, Omari Banks. You are an Anguillan musician, guitarist, and former cricket player, having appeared in 10 Test matches for the West Indies. In 2010, you began to pursue your music career professionally, although you've always had a passion for music and were renowned for travelling with your guitar and giving impromptu performances. In 2012, you released your first album, Move On, which is described as a contribution to a legacy that your dad, Banky Banks, started in the early 70s. Your music and videos have a simple musical mission to spread the message of love and consciousness globally. So there's a ton of stuff to talk about with you, Omari. Thank you so much for joining us on the show. And please do tell us more.
As you mentioned, and as you mentioned earlier, I mean, I was around music my whole life. My dad had been an artist, Omari Banks. So I got the bug for music at a very early age. Although for a very long time, my dad, even in my early years, of course, I would see musicians in the band practice beneath my bedroom. This was between the ages of 1 to 6 years old. But then he moved over to Europe. He lived in France for a bit. And then even in my early teenage years, he was living in New York City. So for the majority of that time, from the age of like 5, 6, 7 years old, my mother was the one who really got me involved in continuing music in the sense of that I would perform in talent shows from a kid. Actually represented Anguilla in different singing talent shows and from a very early age, and just performing the cultural activities around Anguilla. So in August of every year, this year actually we celebrated the 50 years of our summer festival. Yeah, I would participate in that. So I would sing for Carnival, for the Queens of Carnival. I would sing in church, sing in the different, just everything that was going on. So I did that from a very young age. Of course, in the Caribbean, sports is a huge thing, and playing cricket for the West Indies team kind of bit me at the age of 8 years old. Yeah. So from that moment on, music was basically a hobby, and cricket became the focal point of my life because I wanted to be to play for the West Indies team, and I was just enthralled with all the great legacy and history of West Indies cricket. So that's how kind of the two worlds of the sporting side and of course now the music side kind of came together.
How much do you love music?
Oh, I mean, it's all I do. Anybody who knew me growing up as a kid, they knew that I would do anything for cricket, right? That was one. Like basically, that's all I wanted to do. My mom would tell me that I'm obsessed with it.
Yeah.
In the game, and she was dead serious like that. So I say that to say, when I look back at my time in cricket and I look at my time now in music, I think it's honest. I love music so much right now, in the sense that I think if I had gone further in depth in terms of whether it's playing the guitar, far in terms of the musician side of it when I was a kid, I don't know if I would have played cricket. That's how much I love music. I think that speaks a lot, in the sense that, I mean, I have 2 daughters, and this is a part of my thing, and both of them, they play music like you won't believe. Both of them I sent to classical piano from 3, 4 years old, so they can play music and read music. Wow. I never had any formal music classes. I just had the talent to be able to sing and learn chords from different people like that. But both of my kids, they play the piano, but in terms of the musicianship, in terms of on the instruments, which I teach them, the guitar and the bass, they're literally exceptional. Literally, I'm playing a show with my 10-year-old daughter. She knows all of my music, plays Stevie Wonder, George Benson, George Duke, and she's 10 years old. And I'm doing a trio concert with her on Saturday. We've done concerts before. So that's my love for music. My time in a day is spent on music only. I perform right now when I'm not on tour, so I'm in Anguilla. I'm performing literally 7 nights a week. I write music, I record music, I teach my kids music, and I listen to other music to try to inspire myself. So music is my world. Growing up as a kid, it was always around me. My dad has got a music festival, so I was brought up in that environment of music and always could do it and always admired musicians. But because I was so focused on my cricket, it was just something that I could do. Yeah. But now it's something that I just enjoy, just the freedom that it allows. Every time that I think of my time in sports and then I think of now, I always say this, that like one of the beautiful things which I love about music, and I remember my dad told me that when I was a kid one time, you can do music forever. You know what I'm saying? In sports, of course, you have a kind of time limit. And I really appreciate, not that even that he said, but I appreciate that note, even that sentiment, in the sense that, especially if you're doing music with the right intention,
Yes.
there's a constant evolution. There's
Mhm.
a constant learning curve. Whereas in sports, you get to a point where you can plateau, whatever. But music is not in terms, if you're creating music from the point of view where it's not just simply something that you're putting out for consumption, and how you basically how it is consumed makes you feel how much you appreciate it. Then you understand that music is like life. It's very spiritual. It's about your creative process. It's about your growth, and you can appreciate it from a different point of view. And I think that's part of the maturity of life, and that's the way how I approach music. And it's about everything that I do. I just get such a really sense of joy in
Yes.
playing it, performing it, and
Yeah.
creating it. Yeah,
True sense of joy. Tom?
Just following on, really, I suppose from what you just said, I just love your own personal musical mission there to spread the message of love and consciousness globally. Is it something that particularly that you've sort of honed in on the fact that things could be very much consciousness running through your music? Is that something you've kind of highlighted on?
well, I mean, I've always been a kind of a positive person, and
Mm,
from a very early age, I was on a mission. I guess that's the sporting side that comes out. From the age of 13, 14 years old, I remember my mother going through a kind of a period in her life where she would read a lot of motivational books, Deepak Chopra, Seven Spiritual Laws of Success,
mm,
Dale Carnegie, John Maxwell. So, and I would be a kid. I was in the top class in school, but never focused on my education in that way. But I would
Mhm.
read plenty. I would read everything I can get on motivation and
mm,
psychology of the brain. So of how it works and how it applies to sports and getting the outcomes that you want in your life. So for me, I've always been, because of that, I applied those things to my sporting career, and I saw how that gave me an advantage on my rest of my peers who were not as mature at that time in their thinking. And I see what that gave me an advantage in sports, and that kind of stuck with me throughout my life. So when I came over to music, in my whole mentality, just of the kind of person that I am, I just always think that it's just so much more fulfilling as a person to be able to contribute to society, your environment, your home, in a positive way. And I mean, I've learned over the period in life, and sometimes when you want to make a positive contribution, sometimes you have to go about it different ways, in the sense of that sometimes you cannot always just tell people what they have to do, but be an example. In my music, I try to sing about things which I feel passionate about. I try when I decided to come on this musical journey. I was even in the process of moving on from sports, so I was even discovering myself even more and doing a lot of reading,
Mhm.
being more informed of who I am as a person, of my
mm.
history as a Caribbean, Afro-Caribbean, a Black man in the Caribbean, in the world, and just having a view of the world and an understanding of who I am and who I want to be and what impact I can have on society
Yeah.
in a very humble way, not in a way that, okay, I'm going to change the world. Because over a period of time, you realize that there are different ways of thinking and there's ways of seeing the world, and you're not going to change everybody. But if you're that example, then you inspire other people. And that's what I try to do with my music. I sing about things which I'm passionate about. There's sometimes I think history judges us in a way that's kind to us if you do the right thing. So I
Yeah.
believe positivity is the way how we approach life. And I think, and as you grow and as we age, you see those things as just, especially when you have kids,
Yeah.
as just such a beautiful thing. I mean, where you can impart that positivity into them, and you can see the fruits of that labor coming out in them. So I always try to write a song that my daughters can sing along with me. I have daughters.
Yes.
Right.
So if I'm writing, as not that I'm writing that in mind, but I wouldn't want to write a song. Why would I write a song and put it out for consumption if I don't feel? And this is not in a self-righteous way, because I write on a range of different topics, whether it be love, relationships, consciousness, positivity. Because every song is not the same, but it has to be within the realm of at least my moral compass, and that's
Mhm.
that's
Yeah.
what that's what I try to do.
Yeah. Nice.
I've always had this saying, music is not just for somebody, it's for everybody.
Absolutely,
You know what I mean? If you fall in love with it, who cares what you call it? You know,
absolutely.
for years when I lived in Hollywood, the the A&R people, Skyler, what's your music like? Well, I'm a singer, right? But I got a lot of music and I love music. I love all 12 notes and I
Absolutely.
sing over them. And so if I start singing over them, that's emotion.
Absolutely.
Just let it be. Like the
Absolutely.
Beatles say, you know what I mean? Let it be. If you like it, why you got to put it in categories and stuff like that, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, and that's what music is. I mean, especially for me, for sure. I've been brought up in an environment, and my daughter's the same thing, environment where I listen to everything. I mean, I create music which is a blend of reggae, blues, jazz, and rock inspired. When I listen to music, I'm a lot of times listening to a lot of instrumental music. So I'm
Okay.
saying
Yeah.
whatever we do in life, I think it's about the inspiration that we get. And then when we bring all that inspiration together, you create something that's meaningful. And I think that's the thing about art. And that's what I think in a lot of ways in sometimes in mainstream music now has kind of moved away from that. But we as the true artists, we understand what our purpose is, and everybody's got a different purpose, and we create music with that intention, with that in mind, just that we are creating something which we believe can impact people's life meaningfully,
Yeah.
and we're some product of our influences. And I think that's the beauty of music, man. We are all lending and borrowing it from somewhere, and we are creating something uniquely when we put it up.
We're we're, uh we're about to start. Well, our plan is to do festivals, but it's only positive music artists, right?
Absolutely, absolutely,
I want you to be able to come to our concert. You don't really need security. I mean, people come to dance with each other and hold on to each other and
absolutely,
have some food with each other, right? That's and dig some consciousness from people that's talking about positive content. You know what I mean,
absolutely,
Tom?
absolutely.
I just want to know what kind of project you're working on at the moment.
I've got a lot of new music to come. I've actually literally started recording an album, and I've gone through different stages and iterations over the past, I would say, almost 5 years. I started writing it during COVID.
Wow.
I've
Okay.
Yeah.
had so far three different topics titles that I was gonna name the album, but I think literally a couple of days ago I settled on it. I've recorded over 30 odd songs. I mean, I've narrowed it down to about 14 or 15 songs, which I'm ready for. I did the photo shoot for the album. Just spoke to the graphic designer, so came up with a different title track of the album.
Yeah.
Yeah, just tweak different things, and I've got some really cool international collaborations on the album, which I'm really excited about. So,
Hmm.
yeah, yeah. So some of the biggest artists in the Caribbean. I mean, I was a cricket international figure, so I've got actually a song with a gentleman from Jamaica who has played cricket with a guy called Chris Gale, who's like the biggest cricketer of all time, 2020
Wow.
cricketer.
Mhm.
And we did a song together. He does a bit of a dancehall kind of thing. So it's that one
Wow.
song from the album. It's more of a I produced the song, but more of a kind of a dance moving song and kind
Yeah.
of a dancehall kind of feel. So I've got a lot of new music,
Hmm.
and I'm just really excited to share. I'm really excited to share that now. I'm just about gonna be getting ready to decide who I'm gonna be distributing the song through,
Yeah.
and just move from there into the marketing and in the next phase of releasing the songs. But music is complete, songs are mastered, artwork complete.
Hmm.
It's just to move to the next level of releasing it to the public.
Who were some of your favorite social conscious music artists?
So my favorite artists, I would just say, of course, the people. My dad is one of the people who I grew up listening to, so I'll have to give him an honorary mention just because I grew up listening to his music and listening to what he's saying, and he's a very socially aware artist. Him,
Hmm.
of course, Bob Marley, people like Stevie Wonder. I love Carlos Santana. I mean, I grew up singing ballads too, so people like Luther Vandross. Who else? Lauren Hill, Her Miss Education album was one of the I used to listen to that a lot in the late 90s. And of course, people like George Benson as my guitar player as well. Yeah, of course, B.B. King, Eric Clapton. Yeah, I like music and I'm constantly discovering new music. Sometimes
Yeah.
I go back a lot and take from the past
Hmm.
and just kind of educate myself on the whole history of the music.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think it's a beautiful thing.
Bless you for coming on the show, my brother, and thank you
Mm,
for the privilege of your time.
thank you.
I think you're an outstanding artist. You need to let the whole world hear your music, not just, your community.
Absolutely.
and
Absolutely.
we'll try to make that happen. Tom's going to get your information so we can spread the love. Okay.
Please, please, man. It's a joy, and I thank you, Scott, thank you, Tom, for having me. I was just actually up in the UK early in the year. I was in London, Bristol, and Birmingham. I did some shows there.
Wow.
And before that was in the US. Yeah, so I was out for about 3 months, and yeah, just looking to come back. I'm definitely looking to come back over next year with my album.
What I want to do, Omari, is just get your any kind of social media contact information you've got. Just what I'll do is just pop that on the bottom of the description of the video here, so people can go out and check out what you're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So, but just for the folks who are listening right now, yeah, my Instagram is Omari Banks Music, OMARIBANKS Omari Banks Music. My Facebook is Omari Banks, OMARIBANKS. And of course, I mean, my webpage is www.omaribanks.com. So if you remember my name, you can get everything. Of course, I'm on all digital platforms where you can stream and like and share, and YouTube, Omari Banks, and all that kind of good stuff. So
Nice.
It's all just by my name.
Go check this brother out. His music is hot. He's a great artist. And God bless you. Talk to you soon, brother.
Thanks,
Love and
Omari.
respect, and thank you for having me, Tom. Much love and much appreciation, my brother. Reach out anytime, guys. Love.
Music can save the world. Music can save the world. If we all get together, music can save the world. Yeah. Music can save the world. Music can save the world. If we all come together, music can save the world. There's an urgency facing our humanity.
Thank you so much for watching. To stay up to date, please click subscribe and hit the bell. You can also join our group on Facebook and find us on LinkedIn and Instagram.